Well, good afternoon, everyone. The first day of ProMat. With all of this cool tech, you guys decided to come here. Yep, thanks. Thank you. We appreciate it. We're honored to have you come here instead of looking at all the cool stuff out there. My name is Michael Rowe, Vice President of Sales with DMW&H.
And I'm Gary Ritzmann, Sales Director for Movu Robotics.
And welcome to Power Meets Intelligence, combining new ASRS and picking technologies with advanced software and controls. You got all that? Pretty straightforward. Some of you I recognize, some of you know exactly what that means. Others may need a little bit of an explanation, so allow me to translate and essentially make it easier for some of us to understand. So I'm not going to read all of this to you. You probably looked at some of it on your way in. Hang on one second. Gary, I'm going to let you work on this one. We've got some technical difficulties.
Maybe it's your hotspot.
Okay, I'll get that connected. So what we're going to talk about today, I'm not going to read all of this to you. We'll focus on the second slide. But essentially, that title means something very simple. Gary's company, Movu, makes all kinds of really cool technology. They've got the moving pieces and the moving parts. We're going to show all those to you. You're going to get to see some new tech today. And that is the power portion of Power Meets Intelligence. But DMW&H, we don't manufacture a lot of stuff. We're an integrator, so that means that we will design, implement, procure, and support distribution center operations from start to finish. We don't make a lot of physical technologies, but instead we do have our own WES, a warehouse execution system called Indigo. And that's where we bring all the best technologies together from all around the world based on that particular customer's needs. And we make it all talk. We make it all communicate. That's the intelligence part of Power Meets Intelligence. So we're going to talk about how we combine those capabilities and streamline distribution operations today. And whether you're familiar with our companies or not, you're certainly going to learn something new today. So we can go through intros. We could talk a little bit about this. I'm not going to go through the whole shebang for you. I am going to tell you a little bit about us before we dive into the tech. And I'll start with DMW&H. We've been around for a long time. We're a turnkey integrator. We started in 1964. The old wives' tale is when the Beatles touched down in the United States for the first time. That's about when our company was created. So we've been around for a minute. We're around $250 million in revenue. We're not the biggest kid on the block, but we're certainly not the smallest either. We have come a long way over the last 10 years where we were only about 20% of this total at that time. 200 employees. We're very stable. We don't have any debt. And I think that's a big deal. When you're looking to partner with somebody, you need to make sure that they're financially okay. And we are. We even bought our office building with cash, which we don't really use a whole lot these days. We're all remote. We focus on our team. This is probably my favorite tile in this slide. I know it's a little fluffy, but we've been voted as one of the best companies to work in New Jersey for 10 years. And that is an anonymous survey taken by our employees. I mention this to you because it speaks highly of who we are and our culture. And I think that translates directly to customers as well, which is why most of our business every year is through repeat revenue. So again, an integrator, we're turnkey. We do it all. We actually started in the garment district in New York back in the 60s. We're doing GOH. GOH, for those of you who don't know, used to stand for garment on hanger. Today, it is goods on hanger, and you can do a little bit of everything with it. But then again, we work with groups like Gary's as well. We do goods to person, data analysis from start to finish, we're turnkey. We take the data, we look at it, we see what the best of breed technologies are out there, implement it, and support it thereafter. Of course, we're going to talk heavily about our WES today as well. Quick list of some of our clients. We are widely known for our experience in the beverage industry, particularly wine, spirits, and now these days, beer. We work with all of the top 10 distributors in the country. It's closer to the top 15, in some cases, depending on where they lie, the top 20. That is certainly something that we're proud of, but lately we have certainly expanded outside of our traditional bread and butter. particularly in the post and parcel world. We work with large companies now like Amazon, FedEx, and UPS, and that is the fastest growing segment of our company too. Again, a lot of retail and repeat clients there. We continue to grow the verticals. We've got a lot of partners in the industry. I'm not going to read this whole list to you. This is just a sample. It's certainly not everybody that we work with. The list is just limited for simplicity's sake here. We will work with whoever makes the most sense for our clients. So you'll see Movu up there, but we also work with some competing technologies too. We do not play favorites. We do what's best for our clients, and we are always, always, always on the lookout for new technology. Did anybody go to LogiMat overseas this year? Nobody. They always do the shows back to back.
Only last week.
I don't know how you can expect to go to both. Some of us do. Our team makes it a point to go. We bring new technologies in from overseas, and we try to implement it here. We are the first to do a lot of these technologies in the United States. And lastly, we're very active in the industry, naturally here at ProMat and Modex, but also on a local level as well. Material Handling Society of New Jersey is a small group we're a part of, and we do CSCMP roundtables all over the country. Gary?
Thanks, Michael. Movu is part of the Stowe Group. Stowe's been around since 1977 and is the largest rack manufacturer in Europe. Stowe manufactures and sells conventional pallet racking, mobile racking, 1D pallet shuttles, and we have about 10 production facilities in Europe and over 2,000 total employees. In September of 2023, Stowe rebranded the Stowe Robotics entity into Movu Robotics, so it's kind of a new company. Since then, Movu has grown to over 400 employees and 200 million in revenue, and we're headquartered in Lokeren, Belgium. Movu's U.S. operations is headquartered in Romeoville, Illinois, just about a 45-minute drive from here, so it's kind of a home game for us. And we currently have about 60 employees that include sales, engineering, project management, commissioning, and service. Movu and DMW&H became official partners about this time last year, just before Modex, and I'll pass it back to Michael.
Yeah, that's a relatively short time to sign up and be partners and have active projects in the work as well. We're pretty proud of that. Even though we've been partners for a relatively short time period, we have projects already happening. They're already in the works. It wasn't too long ago that we would take our time a bit more. We would vet partners for years, and the industry decided that maybe we're taking a little bit too long. And I think by partnering so quickly, we'd already done our due diligence. We just did it in a more streamlined fashion. I think that's a testament to both companies to move quickly with the times and take a chance with new technologies and partnerships. Okay, enough about us. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. What is the purpose of a distribution center? Simply put, you're trying to get stuff in and out from point A to point B in the most efficient, cost-effective manner possible. And when you think about a distribution center, most people think about the moving pieces. They think about the parts, things that are moving around, and you'll see a lot of it at the show today. Bots, you even think about simple things, rack, in the old days, conveyor, AMRs, AGVs, the list goes on and on. However, it's not as apparent what's making those things run. There's a background, there's a brain that makes everything connect, work together seamlessly. Both are reliant on each other to fulfill orders and run the operations smoothly. That's what we're going to focus on today, working together with power and intelligence.
Okay, so today we're going to describe some of the automated products that Movu manufactures and how the integration of a strong WES can help provide world-class solutions. Movu provides 3 types of products: the Atlas multi-directional pallet shuttle, the eScala, a rack-supported tote shuttle, and the iFollow, a pallet AMR. I'll go into a bit more detail into the Movu product line, and then Michael will take over and go through the brains behind any successful automation integration, the Indigo software suite. So the Atlas multi-directional shuttle can store pallets in a variety of lane depths. The shuttles can travel not only between aisles, but between levels as well via lifts located within the system. As the Atlas is our most popular and mature product, the focus of today's examples are weighted more towards pallet shuttle solutions. This video was shot at Movu's headquarters in Lokeren, Belgium. The building houses our experience center and manufacturing and assembly operations. This is a 1,600 pallet location solution with 6 storage levels and several Atlas robots moving pallets around the system. It's a clean and well-lit facility that customers can walk around and into to see its inner workings. Visitors are able to access each of the 6 levels via a central stairwell and then have the option of harnessing up and walking down the main aisle. In addition, we can offer customer site visits in Belgium with 3 installations within an hour's drive of Lokeren. And that includes a rack-supported building and also a large freezer application. Next, we're going to focus on the Atlas competitive advantages, the first being design flexibility. Not every solution can be a nice square or rectangular layout. Brownfields may require fitting an ASRS system in odd building shapes and around building columns or obstructions. We can optimize the layout to offer the highest pallet storage density. One of the other unique advantages is in regards to flooring. We had an installation in Northern California that had a severely pitched floor. Michael, why don't you go ahead and tell the story?
Yeah, this is pretty interesting. So whenever you think about technology, particularly bots, something moving around in the distribution center, it's often a requirement for the DC itself to have super flat floors. It's actually a term that's used in the industry. If you do not have super flat floors, it doesn't allow things to travel very well across the distribution center. Well, with Movu, we had a client that bought a brand new building. Building was supposed to be perfect. Every building has a little bit of pitch in it to allow for drainage, any kind of issues that might come with leakage, if there is any at all. However, this building's pitch was substantial, nearly 1.5 foot difference between one side of the building and the other. That's tough sledding for anybody that needs to have anything on the ground. With Movu, they were able to take this problem, and instead of having the end user pay an arm and a leg to have everything fixed from a construction standpoint, they don't have anything traveling on the ground. It's going to be rack that's on the ground. So what they were able to do is have the rack at different heights all across to essentially have their bots moving on a level surface. Saved a lot of time. The project was still on time because of this. There were 0 delays, and there was no cost from a general construction standpoint. That type of flexibility is really important to consider when you're looking at alternate technologies out there, and I think it speaks highly of their team being able to adapt on the fly as well.
Then there may be applications that require a small footprint but a tall structure. Here we have a rack-supported building with 15 levels of pallet storage, over 100 feet high, and with non-standard inbound and outbound positions. Here we're showing pallets being inbounded at the south end of the solution and outbound being not only on the south end but on the east and west sides as well. Next topic is storage density and the integration of conveyor systems. Here's an example of a deep lane storage system for a beverage wholesaler, not the same one that we were just talking about, but that requires a high number of stored pallets, 146,000, but has a relatively low SKU count of only about 500. But this ratio allows us to have deep storage lanes of 12 and 24, but still able to access some more of the slower movers rather quickly. The system has a high throughput, around 200 pallets in and out per hour, and has multiple inbound and outbound stations spread out along both the north side and the south side to match up with the dock doors. And this minimizes the need for long sections of expensive pallet conveyor. Another example of an odd building layout with a low ceiling clearance, yet here we're able to design in multiple inbound stations at the north end of the page, some that feed directly from manufacturing lines, as well as others that are strategically placed near the receiving docks. Then we included multiple outbound stations at the bottom of the layout that are near the shipping doors, along with a case picking module at the bottom right. This allows the customer to produce multi-SKU pallets efficiently and get them to the shipping doors relatively quickly. You'll see a sold example of this pick tunnel in a system at the end of our presentation. And this segues to case picking within the Movu storage system. These next examples are becoming more popular as we redefine the safety protocols required for an operator to engage a roaming pallet shuttle. We have a number of different designs for case picking. First one has built-in gravity lanes for dedicated SKUs that are delivered by the shuttles. And of course, in this example, the pallets must be picked empty and removed before another pallet, whether it's the same SKU or a different SKU, can move forward. These next examples are becoming more popular. Sorry, next page. We can also integrate pick tunnels at multiple levels and then still have the deep lane pallet storage above the pick tunnels. The pick to solution can be a number of methods. Here we're showing picking to an AMR, but it just as easily can be case conveyor running down the middle of the pick tunnel. Here's an example of the Atlas shuttles handing over to pallet conveyor to bring those pallets to a goods-to-person case picking station. Pick stations can be as big or as small as needed or based on the number of pallets needed for accumulation. And then the platforms can also be enlarged if there's an opportunity to include batch picking. And then another unique advantage involves pallet buffer storage prior to shipping. In this application, we use the buffer storage in the little red box at the bottom right to visually show where we can store pallets near the shipping docks. We can rearrange them inside the storage cube and then send the pallets to the shipping dock in a specific order so that the trucks can be loaded in a predetermined manner. And on the solution on the right, we deliver pallets to a delayering station in the sequence that is needed to build order pallets. So what products does the Movu Atlas compete against? Well, there'll always be a market for stacker crane solutions, but some of the examples we've already shown tell you that pallet shuttles have multiple advantages. And with a 3,300-pound load capacity, the Atlas shuttle can easily handle most of the older crane technology applications. The first generation of mother-daughter shuttles includes a satellite shuttle that travels on a larger cart. These carts are captive to the main aisles and levels and are limited to one mother cart to an aisle and level. And if the throughput is high, there can be a bottleneck. Conversely, if the throughput is low, you still need that expensive combination in every aisle and in every level. But with the Atlas solution, we can have multiple shuttles running in every and any aisle and level. Or for a low throughput, we can limit the number of shuttles that can roam between aisles and levels. And then there's the latest Far East copycats that you'll probably see around the show this week. They're all many years behind us in experience and live installations here in the US and North America. As mentioned, the Atlas has over 7 years of projects designed and sold and delivered on multiple continents. We have over 100 successful projects sold, and many of the early ones were concentrated in the Belgium, Netherlands region, close to home, so to speak. And the first multi-directional shuttles were installed in 2017, and most of those are still in operation. But in the past 2 years, the technology has gained a strong strong foothold here in North America. The Movu eScala tote shuttle offers simplicity in that there are no lifts or conveyors, and it is a versatile case picking or each picking solution. Each shuttle has the ability to access every stored tote and uses ramps to change levels. We do not have to rely on lifts or cranes. That can often be a single point of failure. The solutions are based on a pre-engineered rack structure that uses standard components. This allows for variable bin storage depths and payloads of up to 110 pounds and heights of 41 feet and beyond with standard module layouts. Again, no lifts or internal conveyors as we use the ramps for the shuttles to change levels. And in the bin shuttle landscape, there are plenty of suppliers and technologies that offer solutions. But when you look at the chart on the left, you can see that the eScala bin shuttle fits right into the middle as you compare throughput versus the number of storage locations. Scalability is one of the key selling points. Standard racking makes adding onto the system relatively simple. Workstations can be added. Storage and ramp towers can be scaled in all three directions, plus the height. And the fourth dimension to scalability is the ability to add shuttles as throughputs increase. Quick overview of the eScala implementations shows that this product has not been on the market as long as the Atlas solution, so the number of projects sold and installations is still building up. The third product in the Movu solution suite is the iFollow. It is a pallet AMR. This video was also filmed at our Experience Center in Belgium. And as you can see in the video, this happens to be a picking solution using Euro pallets. And as an AMR, it uses LiDAR and 3D cameras to operate within the warehouse. It is truly autonomous transport. There are no rails, no wire guidance, no tape on the floor, no QR codes to scan to make its way around the warehouse. The iFollow can carry loads of up to 2,650 pounds. It can operate in cooler and freezer environments down to -13 Fahrenheit. It has a patented anti-condensation system that allows it to travel between freezer, cooler, and ambient environments and back again without issues. We can handle a variety of load devices, including carts, racks, and other pallets. And as with the eScala product, the iFollow is also a newer product for Movu and has less installations than the Atlas pallet shuttle. But in order for these technologies to work efficiently, there has to be some brains behind the equipment, something that connects everything together and makes decisions.
One more.
One more, sorry.
All good. That's the power. That's all the tech that you're going to see. So how do we make it all work behind the scenes? That's what we're going to talk about. Now, our industry, just to set the table, is full of acronyms. WMS, WCS, WES, WS Squad 9. Nobody knows what all of it stands for. When it comes to intelligence, there are a big three. There's a WCS, which stands for Warehouse Control Software or System. The S is usually interchangeable, software or system. That means it is going to be managing automated equipment within the distribution centers, the controls of it. It's kind of the entry level that you will need. We used to have a WCS. We now still have it, but we've built upon it with Indigo, called Legacy Shiraz. It only handled controls. Then you have the other one in the industry, the WMS, Warehouse Management System or Warehouse Management Software. That's going to handle more comprehensive warehouse operations, things like inventory and replan, automation, even some labor standards in there as well. Well, these days, if you're going to be a viable integrator, you need to offer both. You need to offer what's called a WES, a Warehouse Execution System, or WES for short. It does everything. It combines controls with some WM functionality. It's quite hard to do. it's what's going to interface with companies like Movu and every other company for that matter, so long as they're on a standard stack platform that we have to offer as well. So I'm not going to read this whole list. I can send this presentation, by the way. Anybody wants this, just ask. We'll send it to you. Come back after. Come to our booth. We'll give it to you. There are secrets here. I'm going to mow through some of this because we're working on time. One area I do want to focus on here, one bullet point, sequencing. Sequencing, for those that you don't know, is a fancy way of saying I need stuff to get out in order, and I need it to be on my trucks in order so my drivers don't have a panic attack and quit on me on the spot. Most of our clients prefer reverse stop order sequencing. That means it's the tail that wags the dog within the distribution center. Your trucks are ultimately where you want to go, and you need to have it in order on time. It's very difficult to do. Think about your driver who's got 10 stops, 20 stops, whatever it is. If they have to dig through the truck to get their orders, it's going to make them mad. It's going to delay orders, and it's going to allow more trucks to have to be on the road. It's going to be more expensive for everybody. What if you could have everything go in order so that when they stop, they go directly where the order is on the back of the truck or the side of the truck, depending on how they load and unload. Unload it, drop it off, on to the next. It is super efficient, and it is the way that we do business today. It is very hard to do, very easy to say conceptually. Again, we've talked about some of this. Whether you're fixed waves, waveless, dynamic waving, you can handle all of that. You really don't want to just have one choice and be done. So let's talk about Indigo. Now that you kind of have an idea of what a WES is, it's a combination of WM, WCS. You need to understand how it's built. And look, I'm not going to go too down the rabbit hole with this thing because we can. We can go forever. There are a lot smarter people out there that can talk to this over me. But I can give you a good high level of what to expect. If you are going to have a viable WES, so you're saying we offer a WES now, you can do it one of two ways. First way, you can buy or partner with somebody that already offers it. That is the quickest way. It is the easiest way. It's probably the least expensive way, but there's a big trade-off. If you partner with somebody or you buy one, you don't have control over it. When you build it yourself, which is option number 2, it's a lot harder. It's a lot more expensive, and it's a lot more time-consuming. But you raised that baby. You have total control over it, and that means if you want to make changes down the road, you're able to do so a lot faster. We went with option number 2. And truthfully, it's a lot riskier to do that because who's to say that whatever you build is something that somebody wants to buy? It's a big risk. If you're going to have a viable WES, it needs to be flexible enough to change not only for customer expectations, but with the times as well. I'll get into more on that later. So why did we go this route? Why did we build it ourselves? It's taken years and millions of dollars to do it. Well, it boils down to 2 different things. One, WM functionality can be expensive. Many times I get calls from some of our longtime clients who say, listen, we work with a particular WM provider and we don't play favorites. We'll work with anybody typically as long as they can meet a few of our criteria. And say if they want to make a mod, pick up the phone, it's going to be a minimum of $50,000. These days, closer to $100,000. And they'll say, can you do this instead? Maybe a little bit less. Sometimes the answer is yes, sometimes the answer is no. That tells us our customers want us to take on more. But the main reason we decided to do this in-house and take on all this risk and all this cost aside from control is uptime. We had a client who we integrated a very large, complicated material handling solution for. We got 5 or 6 islands of technology in there. Legacy Shiraz, our WCS, handled all the controls in there. Our client had a software support contract with us for that portion of the system, but then there was a larger goods-to-person solution in there that the client had to work directly with that provider for. It's not uncommon. It happens all the time. The problem that we had is that when that part of the system had an issue, it went down, which, by the way, that's an inherent risk of automation. There are going to be problems, but you got to figure out how to get back up and running quickly. Well, in this particular case, this is still a great partner. They were not able to fix it in the amount of time that it needed to be fixed. They were down for a substantial amount of time, which translated to a lot of heartache and a lot of cost for our client. And they called us saying, can you fix it? We were locked out. We can't operate in that way. Now with the WES, if we build it ourselves and we say, you know what, Gary, if you put all this tech in here, we're going to tell it how to run on the inside. He'll do some of the controls, but we're going to handle a lot of the other functionality, ultimately reducing downtime. If there's a problem, you got one throat to choke. You call us and we'll fix it. Leads to greater uptime, less complicated finger pointing for some of your clients. And that's a big reason, actually two of the biggest reasons why we decided to take on this risk. And so far, it's paying off. Our goal ultimately is to control everything within the four walls. And when I say control, that is from a software and controls perspective. So again, traditional WM functionality, inventory, replenish, slotting even, we're getting into LMS. That's something that we wouldn't have even dreamed of, and it is all customer driven to the point now where we used to offer a one standardized WCS that ran on one platform. Now we look at it and say, our clients in different verticals that we talked about earlier are going to want different requirements as well. So we've segmented it. Now, Indigo is still going to be the base for all of it, but depending on your industry, we can tailor it, specifically the reporting on what you will and won't see. It's certainly going to be more flexible than what has been offered in the past. And the good part about it is you don't have to go one way or another. So if you go, okay, Michael, great, your WES is what I want to use, but I'd still like to have some WM functionality with my traditional group. Take Manhattan, a blue chip experienced company, they're still going to want to work with them, no problem. We can scale. We can say, all right, they'll handle this functionality and we'll handle the rest. It's a good handshake. And we're not limited to who we can work with either. So Manhattan is tried and true. A lot of those implementations out there. If you're in beer particularly, you're working with EO, Star, VIP. It's all under the VIP umbrella now, for now. And then we're also seeing something that's a little bit different. You're seeing more of a rise in homegrown WM functionality, meaning the client is building their own WM to make it ideal and tailored specifically for their needs. Indigo can integrate with that as well. It's very flexible. I'm going to keep going. How much time we have? 12 minutes. I mean, I keep going. But we've got something at the end. I want to show you how all this stuff ties together in a real example. And so I'm going to move kind of quickly through some of these slides. Y'all bear with me. Again, if you want them, we'll send them to you. Market-leading functionality, we've talked a little bit about that. The platform structure is important. Now, without going down the rabbit hole, let me give you a high level what this means. Traditionally, we were tied specifically to a Microsoft version, meaning Microsoft, everybody knows, great company, legacy company, people are familiar with it, but everybody knows they're going to support their products for approximately 10 years. And that's with extended support. So say, for example, you're on Microsoft, your server is Windows version or Windows year 2016. That means that in January of 2027, Microsoft's going to say, appreciate you, we're not going to support this anymore. No more security patches, no more bug fixes. It's like when your iPhone needs to be upgraded and Apple goes, you can still have it, we're not doing anything to fix it now, you need to upgrade. That's kind of what happened. The problem with that is our legacy WCS was tied directly to that server version, meaning when you update your server, you've got to upgrade with us as well. Costs a lot of money. It's time consuming. And our team that would handle legacy Shiraz was small compared to where we are today. Truthfully, we had like 2, 3, 4 guys internally that would handle all of our implementations. That limits you to 2 or 3 a year. Now we got a team of about 40. We can do 20 plus implementations, recontrols, executions per year. We do a lot of them simultaneously. And that's all because we are on Docker. Everybody familiar with Docker? Some of you are nodding. Good, maybe you need to get up here. It can be kind of complicated to understand. Here's what it means. I'm going to read the definition of Docker and I'm going to summarize it for you. Docker is an open platform for developing, shipping, and running applications. It enables you to separate your applications from your infrastructure so you can deliver software quickly. That's key. Think on that for a second. Docker is a powerful tool that simplifies the development, deployment, and scaling of applications by creating lightweight, portable containers. Look at the whale, shipping containers on top in their logo. that can run consistently across various environments. Remember how I told you our legacy WCS was tied only to Microsoft. Well, these days the market's telling us maybe we want to do something different. We're not all tied to Microsoft, and there are reasons behind that. Today, you're typically in a Microsoft camp, or you're in a Linux camp. Here's the difference. Microsoft is legacy, it's known, but it can be kind of expensive, it ain't free. Linux is. Linux is open platform, meaning anybody can work on it. There are no licensing fees, it's free, and both support a Docker platform. Because we are not tethered specifically to Microsoft anymore, we offer choice. That's what an integrator has to do. You can't say do it our way or else. You got to be able to acclimate. And that's what we did. Actually, Linux, Red Hat is under Linux, and actually now they're Docker supported as well. This is a big deal. Traditionally, we would have to start from scratch when we were creating new software. Now we can take what we learned, compartmentalize it, and do it a lot faster with any kind of functionality improvements down the line. So what does that mean for you? If you're a client, you say, this is something that I want, we can put something together a lot faster and execute a lot faster as well. Y'all with me? Hang tight. We're moving. Okay. It's a web-based user interface. That's a fancy way of saying I can look at this from anywhere. We used to be tethered to a workstation like this. Well, if I need to know how my DC is running from anywhere, I need to pull out my phone. Or I need to be from anywhere in the DC to figure out. Pull out a tablet. We are now web-based. As long as you got a connection, you're connected. Reporting. Reporting is probably what separates us from everybody else. We are able to quickly modify and create new reports faster than we ever could before. This is just an example, and this is a list that is continuing to grow. I feel like every week we have more functionality built in, whereas it wasn't necessarily the case with what we used to offer. This is clearly a beverage. You can see kegs, if y'all can read that up there. This is just a sample list. The list grows and changes, not instantaneously, quickly. We'll say very fast. We can actually separate and have you dive into certain portions of the distribution center, even from a labor perspective. So you can see what was picked, what was supposed to be picked, who was supposed to do it, so you can identify areas of opportunity where you go, and do exactly what they were supposed to do. Let's go ahead and make sure that they are motivated, or you can recognize where things are going quite well. So you can reward your staff. This is just a little bit, just a glimpse of what we can do with just simple reporting as well. Okay, there is one piece of technology that I want to highlight, because Indigo does work well with Movu. It works well with a lot of different technologies. This is something that we have, and if you want to see this up close, come to our booth as well. This is called our Surf Order Release Module. It's Surf because it's wave-based, but we can be waveless, dynamic. This is a very good solution. Think of it for fast movers. Think of this as a giant vending machine. This is something that's going to spit out orders. Remember what we were talking about earlier, in sequence. It's very important. It is a sequenced order release module dispenser. So that means I can have a lane full of one single SKU. We're working on a module that can maybe do multiple SKUs per lane. As long as I can track what's in there, I'm going to release it. It's all going to combine in order. Watch how this thing sorts. You got this whole mess that's somehow working its way into each truck. This is a floor-loaded operation, no palletization, but we can do it for either or, and sometimes both. That's very difficult to do, but we can tie in with Gary's stuff. We could tie in with Surf as well, and if you do want to see this,